Angkor, the largest city of its time in the heart of the Khmer Empire, was a marvel of architecture and divine power. Its sprawling temples, intricate waterways, and grand avenues stood as a testament to the vision and ambition of the god kings who ruled from its throne. For centuries, Angkor was not just a city, but a symbol of cosmic order, where the earthly and the divine were believed to meet. In 1431, this mighty metropolis fell not to slow decline, but to a swift, brutal invasion by the Siamese kingdom of Ayutthaya. The city's defenses, once thought impregnable, were overwhelmed by the relentless assault of Ayutthayan forces, who had long coveted the wealth and prestige of Angkor. The invaders breached Angkor's walls, plundered its temples, and seized its sacred regalia, shattering the god king's authority. Priceless treasures, religious icons, and royal heirlooms were carried away, leaving the city stripped of its spiritual heart. Thousands of artisans, dancers, and scholars were taken, gutting the empire's cultural core. The loss of these skilled individuals meant the end of Angkor's vibrant court life, its ceremonies, and its artistic achievements. The city's once bustling halls fell silent, echoing with memories of a lost civilization. This was more than a military defeat. It was a spiritual catastrophe that broke the centuries-old celestial order. The Khmer people believed their king was the earthly incarnation of a god, and with the sacking of Angkor, that sacred link was violently severed. The Khmer rulers, once seen as living gods, lost their divine mandate in a single traumatic blow. The throne room stood empty, the royal line in disarray, and the inscriptions that once proclaimed their glory began to fade from memory and stone alike. The fall of Angkor was not a quiet fading, but a violent rupture that sent shockwaves through Southeast Asia. Neighboring kingdoms watched in awe and fear as the once invincible Khmer Empire crumbled almost overnight, its power broken and its people scattered. The empire's focus on monumental construction and elite bureaucracy left it vulnerable to external shocks. While the temples soared ever higher, the needs of the countryside and the resilience of the state were neglected, making Angkor a tempting target for ambitious rivals. The Ayutthayan invasion was the force that finally broke the Khmer world. The devastation was so complete that the empire would never recover its former glory, and the memory of Angkor's greatness would become legend. The loss of Angkor meant the loss of identity, tradition, and the divine right to rule. The sacred regalia, once symbols of unity and power, now lay scattered among the ruins, their meaning lost to time. The once mighty Khmer Empire was left to be reclaimed by the jungle. Its golden age ended in fire and chaos. Today, the silent stones of Angkor stand as a haunting reminder of a civilization's rise and fall, and of the fragile line between glory and oblivion. The Khmer Empire's power rested on two pillars: mastery of water and stone. Their vast hydraulic system, canals, reservoirs, and dikes, turned the Tonle Sap Plains into a rice-producing powerhouse. This agricultural surplus fueled a massive population, a formidable army, and the construction of breathtaking temples. The king, seen as a divine link between heaven and earth, ruled over a network of tribute-paying territories. Most people were farmers, their lives shaped by the rhythms of rice and the demands of the state. Elite officials managed the bureaucracy, while commoners built the infrastructure and temples. Khmer art, dance, and script flourished, creating a unique culture that influenced the entire region. For centuries, the empire's wealth, power, and creativity made it a beacon of civilization in Southeast Asia. Life in the Khmer Empire revolved around the Devaraja, the God King, whose presence was felt in every corner of daily existence. The king was not just a ruler, but a living bridge between the mortal world and the divine, believed to embody the will of the gods themselves. His divine status shaped every aspect of society, from the grandest ceremonies at court to the smallest village rituals. The king's word was law, and his authority was absolute, supported by elaborate rituals and displays of power. The king's well-being was believed to ensure the kingdom's prosperity, with the fate of the land and its people tied to his spiritual strength. If the king was strong and virtuous, the rains would come, the harvests would be plentiful, and the empire would flourish. His temples, rising majestically above the forests, were not only places of worship, but also symbols of cosmic power and order, designed to mirror the heavens and connect Earth to the divine. Below him, a privileged elite managed the vast bureaucracy, overseeing everything from irrigation to religious ceremonies. These officials enjoyed lives of luxury, adorned in fine silks and gold, living within Angkor's magnificent walls. Their wealth and status set them apart, but their power depended entirely on the king's favor and the stability of the royal court. Most Khmer, however, were rice farmers, laborers, or soldiers, living in rural villages scattered across the empire. Their lives were marked by hard work, heavy taxation, and compulsory labor, as they supported the grandeur of Angkor and its rulers. Corvée labor bound the population to the state, with men and women conscripted to build the vast canals, reservoirs, and temples that defined the empire's landscape and ensured its survival. Despite the rigid hierarchy, shared festivals, religious stories, and communal celebrations brought people together, creating moments of joy and unity across social divides. Local temples served as the heart of each community, blending ancient animist beliefs with Hindu and Buddhist traditions, and offering a space for prayer, learning, and social gathering. Epic tales and legends, carved in intricate detail on temple walls, taught moral and religious lessons to all, from the youngest children to the oldest elders. This shared cosmology and devotion to the Devaraja created a powerful collective identity, uniting the Khmer people under the divine protection and guidance of their god-king. Angkor was more than a city. It was a sacred model of the universe, the heart of Khmer power and faith. Its design mirrored Hindu-Buddhist cosmology, temple mountains as Mount Meru, moats as cosmic oceans, and a grid aligned to the cardinal directions. Angkor Wat, the king's masterpiece, was both temple and mausoleum, its carvings telling stories of gods and kings. The stone temples were only the sacred core. Most people lived in wooden houses that vanished with time. Zhou Daguan described a vibrant city of markets, canals, and diverse residents. The living city thrived around the immortal stone monuments. Angkor was a place where the divine and human worlds met, maintained by the king's cosmic role. This grand urban complex was the living soul of the Khmer Empire. By the 14th century, the Khmer Empire faced mounting internal and external pressures. The shift from Hinduism to Theravada Buddhism weakened the god-king's authority and the centralized system. Monumental building projects strained resources, while the complex water system became harder to maintain. Environmental challenges, droughts and floods, threatened food production and stability. Meanwhile, new Thai kingdoms like Ayutthaya rose to power, chipping away at Khmer territory and prestige. Ayutthaya adopted Khmer culture, positioning itself as the new regional center. The rivalry escalated into wars, with the Khmer increasingly on the defensive. The stage was set for a decisive confrontation that would end the Khmer Golden Age. In 1431, Ayutthaya launched a full-scale invasion, targeting Angkor itself. After a brutal 7-month siege, the city's defenses collapsed. The invaders sacked temples, looted treasures, and captured thousands of Khmer elites, dancers, priests, artisans, and administrators. By deporting these people, Ayutthaya absorbed Khmer culture and expertise, crippling its rival. Sacred regalia and statues were seized, stripping the king of his divine legitimacy. The Khmer king fled, abandoning the ancestral capital. The sacking shattered the monarchy's prestige and broke the cosmic bond between king, city, and gods. The physical destruction was immense, but the psychological blow was even greater. Angkor, the heart of the empire, was left broken and vulnerable. After the devastating invasion of 1431, the once mighty Khmer court made the painful decision to abandon Angkor. The city, which had stood as the heart of an empire for centuries, was now seen as both indefensible against future attacks and spiritually tainted by defeat. The echoes of royal processions and bustling markets faded, replaced by an uneasy silence that settled over the empty stone corridors and grand plazas. Seeking safety and a fresh start, the royal court and much of the population moved south, establishing new capitals along the life-giving Mekong River. This shift marked a dramatic change in the kingdom's geography and priorities, as the Mekong became the new artery of Khmer civilization. Yet, Angkor's decline was not immediate. For years, some residents remained among the ruins, clinging to the memories of a glorious past. Angkor Wat, once a Hindu temple, gradually transformed into a revered Buddhist pilgrimage site, drawing monks and pilgrims who kept the spiritual flame alive. But without the king and his court to maintain the vast hydraulic system, the intricate network of canals and reservoirs began to fail. Rice farming, the backbone of Angkor's prosperity, dwindled as fields dried up and irrigation structures crumbled, leaving the land vulnerable to drought and flood. Slowly, the relentless jungle crept in, reclaiming the city stone by stone. Wooden homes, bustling markets, and royal halls vanished beneath a sea of green, while only the enduring stone temples remained as silent witnesses to a lost civilization. Over time, Angkor faded from the world's memory. Its location became a secret known only to local villagers, who lived quietly among the ruins, their lives intertwined with the remnants of greatness. The kingdom's shift southward changed everything. Economic and political power now centered on the Mekong, ending the era of god-kings and monumental temple building. New towns and markets grew along the river, reflecting a different way of life. The post-Angkorian period was marked by survival and adaptation. The Khmer people, once rulers of a vast empire, now faced the daily challenges of rural life, their former glory a distant memory etched in stone. The loss of Angkor was more than the fall of a city. It was a definitive break with the past, a turning point that reshaped the destiny of a people. Yet in the face of hardship, the Khmer endured. Their future would be defined by struggle and resilience as they carried forward the spirit of their ancestors into a new era. The fall of Angkor marked the rise of Ayutthaya as Southeast Asia's new hegemon. Ayutthaya absorbed Khmer culture, adopting its kingship, rituals, and administration. The Khmer kingdom, now based in the south, entered a period of vulnerability, caught between Ayutthaya and the expanding Vietnamese. Cambodia became a battleground, its territory and throne contested by powerful neighbors. The loss of elite talent in 1431 left a lasting brain drain, weakening the state's ability to recover. Khmer art and tradition persisted, but under constant threat and diminished resources. The trauma of Angkor's fall became central to Khmer identity and fueled centuries of rivalry with Thailand. The 1431 invasion reshaped the region, its echoes still felt today. The fall of Angkor ended an era, but Khmer culture endured. The temples, rediscovered in the 19th century, became symbols of Cambodian pride and identity. Classical dance, language, and epic stories survived, connecting modern Cambodians to their ancient past. Khmer influence shaped Ayutthaya, and by extension modern Thailand, spreading its cultural DNA across the region. The spirit of Angkor lived on, transformed but not destroyed. The empire's fall is a lesson in how internal strains and external shocks can topple even the greatest civilizations. Sometimes, history turns on a single, violent event that reshapes the world. The Khmer legacy, carved in stone and memory, remains a testament to their enduring greatness.